right, we have reached our destination for today. Today we're going to hike the Blue Bend Loop Trail at Cumberland Falls State Park in McQuarrie County, Kentucky. Now this trail is about 4.5 miles long, and I believe it's rated moderate. Not very hard to find at all. It's right across the road from the Eagle Falls trailhead. So if you guys are ready, let's head on up on the trail here. Now to give you a little history about this trail, at one time part of this trail was the old Cumberland Falls Road. And if you'll notice looking right down through here, part of it is still paved. Now, and also along this road, right up in there, used to be a hotel. And it was called the Cumberland Falls Hotel. And it was there from the 1920s and it burnt down in 1947. I have a picture of that, so I'll put it up right here. And the picture's taken from across the river over by where Cumberland Falls State Park is now. And the big hotel on the hillside there used to sit right here. And walking up the trail, there are some ruins of it right there. There's a brick drainage area right there. We're gonna walk up in the woods and see if we can't find any more remains of that old hotel. All right, well, we've come up the trail a little ways, and as you can see, the trail heads up that way, but the old Cumberland Falls Road heads off into the woods that way. And also too, right here, is the old driveway to that hotel. So I figured we would take the easy way and go up there and look around for the ruins by taking the old driveway. So let's walk on up. Well, not far from where we started up the driveway, I looked up on the hill and saw these. Now I don't think these have anything to do with the old hotel. These look like old outhouses for a state park. I don't know why they'd be here, but that is definitely an outhouse. And this one over here even still says women on it. These have not been used in a very long time. And I wouldn't step inside there for money. I bet you there's snakes in there. Well, let's get back down on the road and see if we can find anything left of the hotel. This is definitely old state park stuff here. All right, well, just down from those outhouses is this building. Now this looks to be older. This was probably part of the hotel, I guess. And looks like there used to be a water fountain right there. It's interesting. Let's have a look inside. Steps up inside. Huh. Some sort of machinery right there. And an old fuse box. Oh, look, it's still got fuses in it. Ha! How wild is that? I don't have any idea. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe that's a pump, because there's a pressure gauge. Maybe that was a water pump for the hotel. That would make sense. And you can see it was driven by some sort of belt. Huh. Very interesting. Well, the driveway still goes up that way. Let's follow it and see what we can find. All right, well, just past that abandoned building we just looked at, the road splits into two here. One goes that way, and you can see a rock wall going up that way. And one goes down the hill here. Let's follow this one going down the hill. All right, well, we followed that road. I'll call it a path now because it's obviously not a road. It's not wide enough. But here's this little bridge. There's that drainage culvert we could see from down there on the old road. And the path goes on out this way. Very interesting. Oh, look, it's an old staircase. Huh, it's an old staircase. This must have been the entrance to the hotel. You see it going on up there. All right, well, that looks like where we're going anyway. We'll go back up and around and explore up there. All right, we're back on top again. Look at this rock wall. There's a set of steps that goes up to another level. It looks really flat. That's probably goes up to a room, I'll bet you, where a room used to be anyway. A lot of nice rock work still standing here. Look at that. They made an artificial waterfall there for the drainage. I bet you that's pretty when it's wet. Now, right over there is where the steps came up that we were just looking at from the bottom. And then they come around, and here's another set of steps going up through there. So let's go up there and explore around up in there. Now, here's another set of steps that are chiseled directly into that rock. I wonder if these went to a room or something. It's flat up here on top of this rock. Maybe it was just an overlook. Very interesting. So we've come up a little way from those steps in the rocks there. And this really neat corridor is right here. And we're still in the area of the old hotel. And this looks like a trail. I know it's not the Blue Bend Trail. Maybe it's one of the old trails from when the hotel was here. All right, well, let's explore around some more. This is very interesting. Well, we just came back down from that big crack in the rocks right there. And looking around, I found another set of steps. And what's interesting about this set of steps is when you get to the top of it, you can definitely tell there was something here. Look how flat and dug out this is. I wonder if this was a room or the lobby or what this was for the hotel. There's nothing up behind it. So I guess this is as far up as it went. Hard to picture this stuff once it's gone. But standing up here where that flat spot is, you can see all the way down there. You can see that little drainage ditch and bridge right there. And that first set of steps we saw is right over there by that big rock. So the hotel must have been all along here. You can see over there where that big tree is, that's all flat. So I'd say the rooms were all along in there. Wow, what a beautiful place this would have been to stay. All right, well, I guess that's all there is to see here. So we'll head back for the trail and I'll meet y'all back down there. All right, well, we've made it back out to the junction of the driveway and the old Cumberland Falls Road and the trail, which you can see the steps we just came up. And it's headed up that way, so let's move on up. Well, we're up a ways from the steps now, and this first part of the trail is all uphill too. And I forgot to mention that we are actually hiking this trail in the opposite direction. It's recommended that you do it counterclockwise, and that way you get all the hill work out first, and everything at the end is all downhill or flat. So keep that in mind when you come up here to do this trail. Well, we're still climbing, so let's move on up and see what's ahead of us. All right, we have made it to the top of the hill finally. I want to show you guys this. Be on the lookout. There'll either be blue marks or blue number 10s. That'll let you know that you're still on the trail here. And we have met back up with an old road again. We're not walking on the old road, but you can sure see it's in there. It's definitely a sunken road. All right, well, this has been a pretty walk so far. Let's keep looking around. All right, well, we've just come up out of the woods back here, and we hit a fork in the road. Literally. And we're teeing up to another road. Looks like maybe an old logging road. But there is a marker right here, and it says BB, which is Blue Bend. So we're going to head out that way. Just make sure when you get to the top of the hill there, you come into that clearing, you turn left. All right, well, we've been walking along that road for quite a ways, and it's been quite pleasant. Walking through glades and stuff, and it's been fairly flat, and then we come across this. Now, as you can see, there's a blue mark there. They want you to go around this. This is blocking the old, I guess, fire road. Man, you can tell that hadn't been opened in a long time. That's rusted clean off the pole. So if you see this, you don't have to turn around. We just have to walk around it and head on down the road. All right, well, we finally made it across the ridge and we've started downhill. Came from up there and then we're headed in this direction. This is what I wanted to show you. There are a lot of trees down across this trail right here. You have to be careful and pick your way through this. Just take your time and you should be able to get around them with no big problem. Well, let me negotiate this part of the trail and I'll meet you guys on down the ways. All right, well, we made it all the way down the hill and here we are at the Cumberland River. And this is where our trail meets Chaltouille Trace. Chaltouille goes out that way and we're headed back this way. It looks like we are 2.2 miles to the end of this trail. So we've walked a little over half of it. All right, well, trail's out ahead of us. Let's walk on and see what we can find. This whole last section of trail here is just overlooked by these massive cliffs. They're awe-inspiring to me. I'm sorry if you all don't find these interesting, but they are a thing of beauty to me. All right, well, better look where I'm going. We'll see you guys down the trail. All right, well, we've come down the trail quite a ways from that last section I just showed you, and I could hear this off in the distance. Isn't that an amazing waterfall? Now the trail is back down that way. I don't know if you can see it, but in the distance there's a little bridge crossing this creek. We've come up the creek to get a good look at this waterfall. That is definitely worth seeing. We must be getting close to the end of the trail because I could hear cars right before I heard this waterfall. So we may not have too much left on this adventure. All right, definitely worth seeing. Let's make our way back down the creek and get on up the trail. All right, well, we've come down off the trail a little ways again. We're almost to the end of the trail. I wanted to give you guys one last look at the Cumberland River. And a look at this. This is the Gatliff Bridge here at Cumberland Falls. Now, a lot of people think that this bridge was built in the 1930s by the WPA or the CCC, but no, it wasn't. It was actually built in the 1950s. Before that, right down the river here, there was a ferry that took you across. And this was all the way from the 1800s until the 1950s. That was the only way to get across the river here. We'll go down here and have a look at the ferry landing. But first, what we got to do is get back up this hill. So I'll see you guys at the top of the hill. All right, well, we made it back off the beach there and we're back on the trail, and this is the other trailhead right here. Now, you can start from here, or you can start from where we started from, but they recommend you start the other way, just for the simple fact is get the uphill out of the way right off the bat. Now, the other bad thing about this trail is, whether you start here or you finish here, you got about 300 yards of road to walk to get back to where you had to park. So just be very careful when you do that. Now, we're gonna walk up the road and I'm gonna meet you guys down on the old ferry road, and we're going to go down to the ferry landing, so I'll meet you guys on up the way. All right, folks, we've made it back from the other trailhead up the road. I want to show you this. Now, this is where we started. Remember, that is the old Cumberland Falls Road, and this is the newer road. This was built in the 1930s. I'm going to put a picture up that was taken between 1947 and 1953. Now, if you'll look, you'll see a circle across the river. That is the old Cumberland Falls parking lot, which is still over there. And if you look over here, you'll see two roads. One road is this present road, and you can tell it kind of curves further out, and the other road goes past the old hotel we visited when we first went up the trail there. If you'll look real close, you can see the ruins of the old hotel. Now we're going to walk down this road. This is where the ferry was, and it was replaced by the bridge in 1953. So let's walk on down. All right, well, we were walking our way down the old ferry road, and look down, and on top of these rocks, you can see the old blacktop going out that way. So at one time, you'd have drove down here by the river. I'd say this probably flooded out a lot. And the ferry must have been right down in here. There's a big tree there right now. And if you look across the way, you can see a big flat spot on the other side of the river. Looks like where you'd pull up off the ferry. So my guess is this was the ferry site. It's not too far down from the Gatliff Bridge there. That bridge was built in the 1950s, so before that time you had to drive down here with either your car or your wagon and get on a ferry and be pulled across the river. Now before that there was just a rope across the river with a basket. If the river was down, you could ride your horse across or walk across, but if the river was up like today, you'd have to put yourself in that basket and pull yourself across the river. We are not too far from the falls, so I don't think I'd want to do that. And I have seen the river a lot higher than this, and I sure wouldn't want to try it on a day where the river was really up. One more look at the bridge that replaced the ferry here. Now we'll head back and we'll finish up our adventure. All right, folks, we're back from the ferry landing and we're back where we started this adventure. I hope you enjoyed today's adventure. If you did, be sure to give us a like and a share, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for coming along today, folks, and we'll see y'all next time.